welcome to another edition of Like It or Not, the highly popular show hosted by yours truly, the lovely and talented Rick Deezel. On the phone is my producer, Tiny Tim. Say hey, Tim.
What's up, wrestling fans? Glad to have you here once again, like it or not. And so I'm really proud of you calling in the middle of the day instead of calling at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Ain't that awesome? I figured I'd give you a break on this. And how many? What is this? Our third one? Fourth one? Ninth one?
Fourth one, I do believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's not bad. I mean, you know, of course, I'm notorious for usually going about 10 episodes on something and quitting, but we'll see how that goes. I'm wearing the official AIWF Wrestling, Allied Independent Wrestling Federation's t-shirt that you can get at AIWFWrestling.net. Order yours today!
Absolutely, those are great shirts, and I just actually approved the new design for the new Rick Deezel shirt.
Oh my God, there's gonna be another Rick Deezel shirt?
Yeah, Rick Deezel's getting his smart-ass white boy shirt coming soon to an AIWF show near you.
Oh, that's awesome. I hope those ought to sell well.
We hope so, because we're putting up enough money for them.
I want Sweet Daddy to wear one.
Sweet Daddy's got his own shirt there, Deezel.
Yeah, but Sweet Daddy needs a smart-ass white boy shirt.
Well, you know, that's a good point there. I'm not going to touch that one, I do believe, so.
I tell you, I've got an accessory for it. Hang on a second. Okay, Sweet Daddy can wear his smart-ass white boy t-shirt. Hang on a minute. And this really fine accessory that I'm going to be wearing for part of the show here. All right, Tiny Tim, let's rock this thing.
You know, I hate to even good thing.
Don't ask. Just go with it.
I can't see a thing that you're wearing there. You got to at least describe here what we're up to.
I ain't doing it. You'll see it when you get put the show together.
Wow, that should be interesting, fans. Well, you know, we've got a couple of things, and I want to get rolling real quick with.
Who loves you, Sweet Daddy?
First thing I want to touch on, Deezel, did you happen to see the ESPN magazine about? I don't even know how to describe it. It was nakedness almost.
Oh, the body issue. Ah, Jesus. Ah, I hated that. All right, you know what my problem is with the body issue of the ESPN magazine?
What's that?
Is the fact that everybody that they take the photos of in the ESPN magazine is naked. And I don't understand that. All right, explain this to me, Tiny Tim. All right, who in the hell can tell who's a man and who's a woman in there? I don't understand it.
You know, and that's a very good question, I have to say. To be honest with you, I saw the same thing, and I'm not. It wasn't that great of a magazine.
No, it sucked. It sucked. And once again, it's some of the ugliest women I've ever seen in my life in that magazine. I don't understand it. Why would they? I mean, I know they're celebrating the body, but for God's sake, they had a woman in there. I'm assuming she was a woman, okay? I'm assuming she was a woman, but her feet were so gnarled up, all right? Like, hand me. Okay. Her feet were so gnarled up and ugly, she had a bruise on her freaking toenail. Ugh! It was nasty.
And you know, the funny part is you paid that.
There is no funny part.
No, it is that you paid that much attention to that magazine. I flipped through it, threw it back on the shelf, and I was done with it. But you seem to pay more attention to it than I did.
Well, you know, since I'm working on becoming a trained journalist here with my own show, I have to notice things that other people don't. So it's just. And things like that just irritate me. You know, I kind of analyze everything anyhow, so.
Well, understandable, and you have every right to be as so your TV journalist days, and you know, which going back to and you know something else that you know news from the wrestling world, but Mickie James I know you wanted to touch on Mickie James here for a minute, and all you told me was bring up Mickie James. So let's talk about the Mickie James scenario. What has got you riled up over her in TNA?
Well, now, since I sent you the email about the whole Mickie James thing, if you may notice that she has come out. All right, let's go all the way back to the start of this whole Mickie James thing. All right, Mickie James came to TNA. There's a rumor going around that Mickie James refused to wear the referee shirt at the Bound for Glory pay-per-view because of the fact that it didn't have a logo on it. I've heard it was her logo or it was TNA logo. I'm not sure. But I heard that she refused to wear the referee shirt to ref the knockouts match at TNA Bound for Glory because it wasn't to her liking. Now, I don't know. Like I said, she's come out since then and kind of had her say. I mean, you know, she said, oh, it's not true, blah, blah, blah. But here's my thing. Just in case it is true, Tiny Tim, I mean, Mickie James, for God's sakes, man, Mickie James is going to TNA, all right? First off, as big as her ass is getting, she's lucky anybody's hiring her anyhow, all right? Especially to be a diva or a knockout, all right? So the best thing Mickie James could do is not complain to the fact that she's even got work. She could be working for some freaking little independent somewhere who's just barely paying her enough to get her gas money. All right, so Mickie James, don't complain. Be glad you have a job anywhere and lay off the carbs. Seriously.
Well, and you know, I agree, and I read that same article, and it seems like Earl Hebner actually gave her an official TNA referee shirt.
See, I could be wrong about the whole thing, except the big ass part.
I do know that, you know, I read the same thing you did, that she pitched a fit over a logo on a shirt, and, you know, I don't know if it's a TNA or Mickie James logo or what it was, but either which way, you know, typical diva fashion, these young divas...
It should have said Biggest Loser.
Say again?
Maybe it could have said Biggest Loser.
Well, and it could
quite a popular show.
I mean, very, very good point. So, I'm not sure, you know, what's going on.
Maybe she's preparing herself to audition for Celebrity Fit Club.
Well, she needs to lose the size of that ass just a little bit, so that might very well be the case, Mr. Deezel.
It could be.
Well, you want to go into some fan emails here?
Lay it on me.
Laura from Lexington, North Carolina wants to know, when is the AIWF All-Star coming back to Lexington?
Laura? Did you say her name was Laura?
Laura.
Laura. Oh, I'm sorry. Not Laura. It's Laura. Well, Laura, look for AIWF All-Star to be returning to the Lexington National Guard Armory on November the 13th. Advertising for that show should be going out before too much longer. On that show, for the first time since the attack in Pelham, North Carolina back in, what was it, September?
I think that was it, yeah.
Ricky Morton will be making his way. Well, actually, I take it back. The night before, Ricky Morton will be making an appearance in Eden, North Carolina at the Eden Mall on Friday night, November the 12th. And on Saturday, November the 13th, Ricky Morton will be facing Matt Houston, one of his attackers in Pelham. He will be facing him in Lexington, North Carolina at Lexington National Guard Armory. Now, rumor has it that Lewis Moore may be back by the 12th. The boys down in EWA, the AIWF affiliate down in Eden, North Carolina, EAW is pushing for Lewis Moore versus Buddy Landale that night. It all depends on what goes on with Fright Night. So, but Ricky Morton's supposed to be in Eden on November the 12th, and on Saturday night, return to Lexington, AIWF All-Star at the Lexington National Guard Armory. Be there, Ricky Morton versus Matt Houston.
Well,
that's a little long-winded, wasn't it?
North Carolina says, Rick, I love your show. What can we expect from Rick Deezel in the future?
Well, let me tell you, we're working on something, and I'm glad you asked that question because I'm going to kind of let the cat out of the bag here, all right?
Okay. Now keep in mind, we only have 15 minutes, Rick Deezel.
The bag. Okay, anyway, I'll let the cat out of the bag. We are working on something where Rick Deezel is going to start interacting with the fans at the shows again. That used to be a very popular thing that I'd done a long time ago. So we're going to be having some Rick Deezel interacting with the fans so that we can actually get your opinions right here on Like It or Not. So not only will Rick Deezel's opinion you'll have his opinion whether you like it or not, but we're going to get some fans' opinions, whether you like it or not, about some of the things that's going on in the world of wrestling today. Because we want to hear from you, the fans. Because, you know, Tiny Tim, they don't have a way to call in on this show. You know, because we tape it God knows when, whenever the spirit hits me and my crotch is not itching. We always do this show taped, so we don't really have a way for the fans to call in like our blog talk show. You know? Oh, by the way, Double DQ Radio, Blog Talk Radio, Sunday nights, 9 p.m., hosted by Tiny Tim with his sidekick on that show, Rick Deezel.
Well, and you know, since you plugged it, let's further that fact, fans. This coming Sunday, Ricky Morton will be our special guest host to counteract those claims made by the old school mafia. I can't wait to, you know, have Ricky on our show, and you know, we tried for it this past Saturday, or this past Sunday, and we got Lewis Moore and Energy official Tim Daniels, but it's nice to see Ricky Morton stepping up. He wants to defend himself and the legends.
Well, that will be aired October 24th, 9 p.m. Ricky Morton scheduled to address the old school mafia. I mean, our last 2 episodes, Ricky Moore, we've had, Jimmy Love and Lewis Moore both have been on the Blog Talk show really ranting about the legends. And so we're finally going to get one of the legends. Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express is going to be on the show. You can call in and talk to him. That's Blog Talk Radio, AIWF. Check it out, Double DQ Radio. You can get to it from the, actually there's a link to it on the AIWFWrestling.net site. So check it out and call in and talk to Ricky.
I don't have that call-in number handy, fans, but you can also go to blogtalkradio.com/AIWF for the call-in numbers. So, but keep moving here. I got 2 very interesting emails, and these are probably going to take a little while. But first, KK from Martinsville, Virginia, wants to know.
Wait a minute. What did you say his name was?
KK.
You'll get this later. All right, go ahead.
KK from Martinsville, Virginia wants to know. First you love them when they worked for you in the AIWF. Then you hated them on the local Buzz TV show. And now you're working with them again. What's the deal, Rick Deezel, with the boys from Eastern All-Star Wrestling?
Let me tell you something. But the whole thing with the Eastern All-Star, the EAW out of Eden, North Carolina, is, when I was on live call-in talk show on the local Buzz, on the local Star News channel down in Reedsville, North Carolina, those boys did call in and got on my nerves, and we did have a round. And I'll be honest with you, I still say they're the one group in the AIWF affiliate program that has not hit puberty. And you can look at Justin Cross and tell the whole story. Now, I'm hoping maybe they've matured. The AIWF has decided to let these guys be an affiliate. Because I'm telling you, this whole AIWF Mid-Atlantic thing, I know the AIWF has affiliates all over the world, but the AIWF Mid-Atlantic thing is a new concept for the AIWF. It's these promoters are working together and allowing the promoters from EAW to come in under the AIWF Mid-Atlantic banner was something the AIWF decided to do. And like it or not, Rick Deezel has to deal with it. So I figured the best thing for me to do is be professional as long as humanly possible and deal with it. You know, and then if they get on my nerves, I'll kick them in the nuts.
This one, I'm glad this come up because, you know, this kind of goes along with the old school workers, the legends passing the torch. And Lance from North Wilkesboro,
Lance!
No.
Oh, Lance! Remember that from Cosby Show? Oh, Lance!
Oh my, from North Wilkesboro, do the young wrestlers respect the old promoters?
Oh my God.
What a question.
Let me tell you something, Tiny Tim. Do the young wrestlers respect the old promoters? Hell effing no, they don't. Let me, oh, Jesus Christ. And you've done this at 15 seconds left in the show. I don't know. I'll either get cut off and they'll finish this on a later episode, or they'll let me go. But here's the thing. Hell effing no, the young wrestlers do not respect the older promoters. Why? Because the young wrestlers now, all right, first off, Okay? Everybody and their freaking brother can become a wrestler nowadays. All you got to do is know somebody who is a wrestler, and they'll train you and let you become a wrestler. It wasn't like that in the old days. In the old days, you had to get your ass in there and you had to work for it. You had to set up the freaking ring. You had to set up the chairs. You had to sweep a goddamn spilled Mountain Dew off the floor at the end of the night. And then you had to take the ring down and you had to put the chairs up. And you've done that for months while you were training in some of the most brutal, ass-whipping circumstances that could possibly be laid upon your sorry ass just to get into this sport that back then we respected and we loved and we revered this business because it was a society. It was a society of people who respected each other. It was a society of people who knew what it meant to go out there night after night after night and perform for these fans and get the respect of the fans and the mystique, the mysteriousness of the wrestlers nowadays is gone. Why? Because there's 40 freaking million of them. And do they respect the older promoters? No, because they think the old ways don't mean shit anymore. They think that the old ways are not the way it should be. They think that the old way, as a matter of fact, that's why there's so many freaking promotions out there nowadays. Because every young wrestler who gets into this business and who walks out there in that ring and he don't think that the promoter who's been doing it for God knows 10, 15, 20, 30 years don't know what the hell he's doing. So this young buck goes out and decides that he wants to start his own promotion. Why? Because he thinks he can do it better. Why? Because he's a freaking idiot. Because he don't know nothing about the business. Going out there and jumping off the damn top rope and cutting a freaking 2 or 3 flips in the air into a leg drop. Yeah, that's a great move, but it don't mean shit to the business. You don't know how to tell a freaking story. You don't know how to go out there and keep the crowd for 10, 15, 20 minutes to where that they can enjoy the match and stay in it. The ups, the downs, the near pinfalls. I mean, there's a art to this business. It's a freaking art for it. It's not something for people to just go out there and enjoy because they want to do it, because they've done it on a trampoline for 6 months. That's not what this freaking business is about. No, the young wrestlers do not respect the old promoters anymore because they think the old promoters' ways are stupid, and that's not the way Vince McMahon would do it. Well, you know what? That's the way Vince McMahon's daddy done it, and he kept the damn thing going pretty good for a long, long time. Just because Vince McMahon has tied every freaking thing he does into the movies nowadays does not mean that every wrestler is going to strap on a pair of boxing boots or Converse tennis shoes and they're going to go out there and become a damn movie star. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I rant?
I think that was a Rick Deezel rant, and that's the whole point of Like It or Not, is because Rick Deezel can rant. And, I'm going to agree with that. And, you and I have had numerous conversations about some of these young guys and the fact of how they don't respect the promoters.
You know what's wrong with this business nowadays, Tiny Tim?
Egos?
That and the fact that if somebody gets that ego, and the fact that if one of these young wrestlers goes out there and he don't listen and he gets too cocky, nobody's willing to break his freaking ankle anymore. Nobody's willing to teach these young guys a lesson anymore. Nobody's, what happened to the old hatchet men? What happened to those days? When somebody go out there and you disrespect somebody in the dressing room, oh, hey, let's have a battle royal. Hey, whatever happened to those days? There's no respect because you don't beat it into them no more.
And there's been some, on that thing, up in the last few shows, we've had some issues ourselves with those same young guys that think that they're the shit, period. I mean, that's just what they think. They think they're the world revolves around them, and you take them out of their element, you take them out of their hometown, and they're nobody.
They're nobody. And exactly, not to mention the fact that how many wrestlers out there nowadays will train for 3 weeks or 3 months, and then they get through into a match. Because, they're ready to go. Well, why? Because they're not patient. When I trained in a freaking building with no ropes, had mattresses against the wall and carpet on the floor. And I took my slams and I took my chops and I took my face rubbed in the carpet when coming home with the carpet burns on my eyes and blood on my face. I took that. Why? Because I respected this business. I didn't have a ring to train in. I didn't get in an actual ring until my first match. I trained in a building, and then from the building I graduated to a ring set up in a yard with no give in it and cables for ropes with no protection. And that's the way I trained, and I grew up to respect this business, and I respect everybody. I may talk about them like a dog, Vince Russo, but I still respect everybody, even the young bucks who get in this business and have no respect for anybody. I still respect them for doing it, but I swear to God, 90% of them need to have an old school lesson taught to them.
I'll agree 100%. And I know we went over our time here, so we'll
Quite a
cut
bit.
it off. But next week, Rick Deezel, the last email that I didn't have a chance to get to, actually touches on something that we talked about, not just last week, I do believe it was, hardcore wrestling and the real world of wrestling. What's the difference? And I'm not sure what they mean. I'm going to respond and find out what exactly they're wanting to know, but that is coming from a fan, and next week, let's touch on that if you want to.
We will.
But final thoughts, Rick Deezel?
You know what? I know I went over again tonight. I don't know why in the hell they said that the show was going to be 15 minutes when they know good and well I couldn't go 15 minutes. I can't go 15 minutes when I'm having sex with myself. But I mean, the thing about it is, I always go longer, by the way. But let's clear that up. Let's clear that up. It always takes longer. But I mean, the thing about it is my final thought is just, I have no more final thoughts. Respect the business. Mickey James, Slim Fast, baby, come on. You're a good-looking chick, all right? That's just, my God. And we'll see you in Lexington. And hey, fans out there, be prepared. If you see Rick Deezel coming around with a camera and he's coming to, be prepared to talk to me. You will be on the show. That's going to do it for this episode of Like It or Not. Tiny Tim, thanks for being here, buddy.
Till next time, Rick Deezel.
All right, we'll see you later, fans. Send in those emails. Keep them coming.